Welcome. I'm Jim Gibbs, owner, designer, and developer of Gibbs Gardens. I would like to take you on a video tour of our Japanese gardens. Encompassing more than 40 acres, we are one of the largest Japanese gardens in the country. After spending 12 years designing and building these gardens, they have a very special place in my heart. In keeping with tradition, let's enter the gardens through the Torii Gate. As you walk through the gate, you'll see a carved granite Kasuga lantern. The Japanese gardens feature a meandering walk that subtly descends around 7 spring-fed ponds with islands, bridges, boulders, and rocks. The Japanese gardens are named the Garden of Four Seasons, or Shiki no Sono, in honor of Dorothy Chapman Fuqua. Fall, with its magnificent show of color, is her favorite time of the year. She is a beautiful lady, eager to learn and share her knowledge of Japanese gardening. 40 years ago, Dottie Fuqua and I began a working relationship that developed into a loving friendship. She was happy to hire and provide an opportunity for a young man who had just graduated from the University of Georgia. Dottie loaned me stacks of Japanese gardening books to read. Over time, as 2 gardening enthusiasts dug in the dirt and planted together, we formed a long-lasting friendship. I didn't have a true interest in Japanese gardens before meeting Dottie Fuqua, but after 8 years of studying Japanese garden books and working with Dottie on her gardens, I was hooked. I traveled to Japan to study the gardens there. For real hands-on experience, I worked with a Japanese master gardener who was building a traditional Japanese garden. After that experience, I returned to Georgia with a commitment to build a world-class garden with the traditional 4-season Japanese garden taking center stage. With that goal in mind, I set out to find a property with an abundance of natural beauty, water, and mature trees that would provide instant age and character for my garden. It's no coincidence that we have abundance, one of Buddha's prophets, in our gardens. His abundance is symbolized by the fish carved into the stone below his face. After 6 years of diligently searching for just the right property, I found 287 acres of woodlands in North Cherokee County. The first time I walked this land, I knew it was the right place for the gardens I had envisioned. The gently rolling hillsides allowed me to develop 220 acres as a public garden and to dedicate more than 40 acres to the Japanese gardens, making them one of the largest in America. In the foreground, you will see the rock of absolute control. This rock protects the people, and good fortune will come, and riches will abound. It is also called the miraculous rock because it possesses magical powers. Reflections in the water provide calmness, stillness, and become an important part of meditation. Japanese gardens can be viewed and enjoyed on many levels. To understand the relationship of water, stone, and plant elements, It helps to know about the culture and spirits. The core belief in Japanese culture is that people must live in accord with nature, honoring its beauty and harmony. This view provides a closer look at Kuan Yin, the goddess of mercy, bathed in morning light. To the right of Kuan Yin, you can see a 5-story pagoda lantern, a very tall vertical accent in the garden. Between the 3rd and 16th centuries, there were no lanterns in the typical Japanese garden. Lanterns were added when the Japanese tea ceremony became a part of the Japanese garden experience in the 16th century. Reflections of clouds, waterfalls, ripples in the water, butterflies, birds, and fish provide movement in the gardens. Here we see the Hulu Pagoda Lantern. Its shape adds circular motion and scale to the garden. A Yukimi lantern at the edge of one pond is reflected in the water. Notice the grouping of the Yukimi, Hulu Pagoda, and 5-story pagoda lanterns. We have more than 40 hand-carved Japanese lanterns throughout the gardens, providing sculptural interest. Bronze cranes, symbolizing longevity, grace the round island planted with ogon grass in the middle of the pond. See the crane's graceful images reflected in the water? This sweeping view shows the bronze cranes, plants, stones, and Japanese maples. A Japanese pagoda set against a backdrop of mature trees overlooks one pond with a view of Crane Island, and beyond that a long view of the Japanese gardens. From the front of the pagoda, you can see the 2 Karen flanking the bench. The Karen are mythical creatures with the head of a dragon, the tail of a lion, the hoofs of the bull, and the body covered with fish scales, which symbolize abundance. A Kotoji lantern reflects a harp design in the water. It is always positioned with 1 foot on land and 1 foot in the pond, visually connecting earth and water. The traditional Japanese garden is a balance of natural and man-made beauty, a garden of meditation which delights the senses and challenges the soul, and for many is a spiritual experience. a Japanese lantern, a natural stone bridge, and Kuan Yin, the goddess of mercy, reflect in the water. The Ronki lantern reflecting in the water can be seen in the distance. Notice the vertical scale of the crepe myrtles and the reflections of pink blossoms in the pond. The marginal plants of variegated iris with purple blooms provide the finial effect and complement the sculpturous trunks of crepe myrtle. A Ronki lantern with a curved base is positioned on an extended stone and reflects in the water. A Japanese pagoda constructed in a prominent position overlooking one of the 7 ponds. Pagodas humanize gardens. They also help in the manipulation of scale. In the Japanese tradition, it was believed that evil spirits could only travel in straight lines. As you walk across the zigzag bridge and make a turn, the evil spirits keep going straight. After 3 turns, you should be free of all evil spirits. Now free of evil spirits, you would step down to the flat stone that extends into the water, called the reverence rock. It's sometimes called the worshiping stone. One could meditate here facing the spring head with the Kami-Iki gods and the guardian, cave, and cliffstone triad with the Awakura god spirits. This scene zooms in on a very important composition of rocks that embody the 3 forces: horizontal, diagonal, and vertical. As a group, they are called Oshiki. These 3 forces are equivalent to the triad: heaven, the vertical force; earth, the horizontal force; man, the diagonal force. These 3 are set together in one location as a focal point. Once you have set the triad, an upright tree is planted to complement the composition. This scene shows the cliff ledge stone and the moon shadow stone with their horizontal balance stones. Connecting an island to the shore is a natural stone bridge called the Bridge to Heaven, which connects the world of man to paradise. Turtle Rock, symbolizing longevity, is positioned prominently at the end of the island. This grouping of rocks is placed to represent a distant range of lofty mountain peaks, Mount Sumeru, the mythical center of the Buddhist universe, and the 8 mountain ranges that surround it. According to the tradition of Japanese gardens, it's believed that the Awakura gods reside in stones, and the spring head is where the Kami-Iki gods, shown here with the guardian stone, reside. The taller vertical guardian stone, one of the most important stones in the garden, is shown here accompanied by the cave stone and the cliff stone. I searched for 5 years in 5 North Georgia counties to find the right stones for an authentic Japanese garden. If the stones are scratched, the spirits residing inside are disturbed and the stones must be discarded. Once we found the right stones, we wrapped them in burlap and used seatbelt strapping to lift the stones into place. We didn't want to risk disturbing the Awakura gods. Our Japanese gardens are surrounded by a natural setting emphasizing what we call the harmony of nature. The fernery, which runs for half a mile along streams and springs, borders one section of the Japanese gardens. We've completed our video tour, but we hope you will come back to see all of Gibbs Gardens and experience the harmony of nature. We urge you to walk the paths around the Japanese gardens, to listen to the sounds of birds singing and the gentle splashing of our waterfalls, to breathe in the clear, fresh air and subtle fragrance of flowers and plants. Visit Gibbs Gardens for an unforgettable garden experience. We're located less than 1 hour from Atlanta in the Triangle between Interstate 575 and Georgia 400. Log on to gibbsgardens.com for directions, hours of operation, and admissions, or call 770-893-1880.